Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Trades Talk with me, your host, Pop, the most industrial stream on a Tuesday night. And for those of you that haven't been here before, we're going to look at things from an industrial point of view. We'll have a look at some articles and see what news is going on out there in industry. And we'll also have some pictures and videos and all this other kind of good stuff. And of course, we'll look into some fatality investigations. But before we get to that, I just want to say hello to you, Fabric. How you doing? Good to see you. You know, it's been a long day when you're too tired to have a whiskey. You're not that tired, but it's an ear thing. Yeah, I get it. This is Trades Talk time to reset your new buzzword. There you go. Yeah, reset that, will you? Hey, hail, Michael. Nice to see you. How's everything over on the old island there? I hope you had a fun time when you were kayaking last time on the weekend. Hail means salvation. Hail? Hail? It's all about hail, except that stuff that falls from the sky. That hurts. You know, you get the golf ball size, baseball size. I was watching a video, and Fabric, this is for you. They're letting air out of a cow. So the cow was laying on its side. You could see it was like giant bloated cow, and the vet there just grabbed something and jammed it into the cow, and all of a sudden all this air started coming out of the cow, and this yellow fluid as well. And I was just like, wow, that's crazy. I wonder if Fabric ever had to do anything like that. But just something that came across my YouTube feed. Just, I don't know, just something out of the blue. You got bumped by a seal and had to swim a kilometer. Oh, man. Well, I'm glad you made it. Jeez. You were by yourself? That's crazy, man. Of course, you were wearing your personal flotation device and all that, but I guess the current would be pretty strong out there. Could sweep you away. Yeah, I would think it was scary. I mean, geez. Can't trust those little buggers, eh? Using a troker. Okay. Okay, all right. Well, hey. Well, I'm glad you're okay, Michael. Like, geez, we don't need to hear about any fatalities for, just kayaking. Need you to, we gotta be more careful out there. Water was really cold. Yeah, it would be. I mean, it's January on the ocean. Okay, Fabric. It's pretty routine. Used to debloat a cow's stomachs. Plural, yeah. All the stomachs. That's just wild. And the cow just laid there, eh? It didn't get all excited or anything like that. It was just like, whatever. But back to Michael. I mean, geez, man. I'm glad you're okay, and it's crazy that stuff like that happens. But I'm glad you made it. Let's check out some news then. Not gonna lie, you thought it was your end. I would too. I could see that. It would be like, you're out on the current of the ocean there, and you're like, I've got to go that far to get to safety. This isn't good. Will this be the end of me? And yeah, you don't need any near-death experiences, that's for sure. Maybe ease up on the kayaking for a while. A guy with a fishing boat saved you. Oh, good. Good, yeah. That's kind of like the law of the ocean is, sailors help out other sailors in distress and all that. Anybody on the ocean there, try to help each other out. Yeah, that'd give me a good scare too. Especially when it's just to go and have fun. It's not even working. You're out there trying to have a good time. And something like that happens. Fabric wants to know if it was a riptide in addition to the seal. Michael ran into SEAL Team 6. Ooh. Sounds like SEAL Team 1. They got him. No riptide, you were fishing in the Georgia Strait. Okay. Alrighty. Well, after that harrowing experience, I hope you can, relax, enjoy your time now. Because you're with us now. You're hanging out here. We're going to go over some news here. And this one, I'm pretty angry about this one, but we'll see. Liberal government has reached a deal with Beijing to slash tariffs on a set number of Chinese electric vehicles in exchange for China dropping duties on agricultural products, Prime Minister Carney said Friday. The deal marks a de-escalation in tensions with a country the Liberal government had in recent years branded as a disruptive power. Oh, I bet the hot shower you had when you got home was amazing. Yeah, after being in the frigid water. No kidding. Like, I hope you had that thing set to scalding. Just probably was right down into the bones that you were just iced over. Hey, it's Veritex. How you doing, Veritex? Good to see you. We were just recounting Michael's brush with having his life ended while he was kayaking on the ocean. He got flipped over and landed in the water, and he had to swim to shore. But fortunately, a fisherman happened to see him and pick him up. But he was in that cold ocean for a while, which goes to show that accidents happen even when you're trying to have fun. Visa-free travel to China? What the heck? No, this is just removing, what do you call it? Removing tariffs. Like, he's going to try to bring Chinese electric cars into Canada, and I'm just like, I hope nobody buys them. Don't buy them. They're garbage. You're gonna die in them. That's they start on fire just sitting there. If Carney wants to live in China, tell him to emigrate and leave Canada for freedom-loving Canadians. Yay! Amen, brother. That's right. 100% Veritex. Breaking news, this is Pop's Last English podcast. Future streams will be in Cantonese and as mandated by Ottawa. Whoa, what you talking about? Carney described it as a preliminary but landmark agreement to remove trade barriers and reduce tariffs, part of broader strategic partnership with China that includes increasing tourism and cultural ties. Oh, don't do that. Carney also said Xi has committed to visa-free travel for Canadians to China. It's a partnership that reflects the world as it is today with an engagement that is realistic, respectful, and interest-based. No, it is not. It's all about the money. And also, why do I want to visit China? It's a third world country. Carney said Ottawa expects Beijing to drop canola seed duties to 15% from the 84% by March 1st, and called that enormous progress. Canadian canola meal, lobsters, crabs, and peas will no longer be subject to Chinese anti-discrimination tariffs from March to at least the end of the year. There was no mention of canola oil, which is subject to a 100% tariff. Also, guys, I've done my research on canola oil. Don't drink it or don't use it for anything. Canola oil is an industrial lubricant from the World War II. And they just called it something else. They renamed it canola oil. But don't use it. Quebec will change its provincial language to Mandarin from Putinistani. Yeah, that's right. So in return for this, up to 49,000 Chinese electric vehicles will be allowed into the Canadian market each year at a 6.1% tariff instead of the current 100%. Okay, so that's 49,000 vehicles headed for the landfill. By 2030, half of those imported vehicles will cost less than $35,000, a measure that Carney said will ensure EVs are more affordable for Canadians. Nobody's going to do it. Don't do it, you guys. I'm warning you, don't do it. Fun fact, canola is really rapeseed. Yes, thank you, Fabric. Exactly. It was used on ships because it would stick to the metal and water couldn't wash it off easily. But they found they had a glut of it when the war was over, and they're like, well, what can we do about this? I know, let's call it something else and sell it to people. Having a little bit of my evening tea. It's peppermint tea tonight. Okay, he added that the 49,000 vehicles, roughly equal to the number imported from China in 2023 before the tariffs, and account for less than 3% of the domestic auto market. Doug Ford slammed the deal in a social media post Friday, saying China now has a foothold in the Canadian market that it will use at the expense of Canadian workers. Because Ontario is the place where we build all the cars and everything, so of course he's going to speak up and make a big fuss about it. He said the deal risks closing the door on Canadian automakers to the U.S. market and urged the federal government to support Ontario's auto sector. That means making the sector more competitive by ending the electric vehicle mandate, harmonizing regulations with key trading partners, and scrapping federal fees that do nothing but add thousands to the cost of making vehicles and chase away investments. In a media statement, Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe, who joined Carney in Beijing, called the deal very good news for Canada and Saskatchewan. What does this guy know? Today demonstrates the importance of foreign trade missions and shows what can be achieved when the federal and provincial governments and our export industries work together to strengthen our trade relationships, he added. Okay, so he's sucking up. That's what it sounds like to me. Carney announced the pact after he met with President Xi Jinping on Friday, ending a multi-year trade dispute that began when the previous Liberal government levied EV tariffs to protect Canada's auto sector. So now he's not protecting Canada's auto sector. That's if the government did it before to protect it, so what you're doing now is not protecting it. You're an idiot, Mr. Carney. In late 2024, Ottawa followed moves by former U.S. President Joe Biden and the European Union to counter China's rapidly growing electric vehicle industry. Former Prime Minister Justin Moron, government imposed 100% tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles, arguing the prospect of cheap, heavily subsidized EVs being dumped in the North American market constituted a threat to the auto sector. China responded in 2025 with a 100% tariff on Canadian canola oil, peas, and other products, along with 25% on pork and seafood products such as lobster. Pop will have a change from tea to Chinese whiskey on stream. Most popular brand called Pew King. And it's different than vegetable oil. How? Yeah, it's more industrial. It's very highly processed. Any oil that has a high smoke point is probably highly processed with deadly chemicals. So you're better off using natural ones, like avocado oil, coconut oil, and olive oil. That was followed by a levy of almost 76% on Canadian canola seed in August that year. China's anti-dumping investigation into canola seeds was set to wrap up in March. Canada is the top global exporter of canola, and China is the industry's second largest market after the U.S. Ottawa imposed the 25% import tax on Chinese steel and aluminum in October. Greg Schurig, president of Pulse Canada, was in Beijing with the Canadian delegation and said the deal was welcome news. Yeah, fabric's got it. Yeah, fabric's right. It's got the same consistency, but way less healthy than even vegetable oil. Be smart, cook with lard. Use lard. I'm a big proponent of lard. Yeah, good thing. Yep, good fabric. Even plastic is technically an organic construct because of carbon. Technically. It was really important that this didn't last as long as we feared it would last into the years. It was resolved in what was really amounts to a short period of time, he said, adding that the timing is ideal for farmers in canola or in Canada to make seeding decisions. Just a year ago, during the spring election, Carney described China as the biggest security threat facing Canada. Speaking to Media Friday, his answer to a reporter's question was less clear-cut. The security landscape continues to change, and in a world that's more dangerous and divided, we face many threats. Carney replied, you manage the threats through engagement. Or you eliminate them, you idiot. So the guy, two-faced, talking out of the side of one mouth, side of his mouth, and then saying something with the other side of his mouth. Saying that first he says China's a big security threat. Now he's walking back and saying, well, you got to engage the threats. So, yes, fabric. Trinitrotoluene, also known as TNT. Invented by Alfred Nobel, by the way, of the same Nobel Peace Prize. He's the one that invented it. Funny how much some of these politicians sound like they are on the take in a mob family. Yeah, we can't prove it, but there's something fishy going on there. The deal also comes as the Liberal government seeks to double non-U.S. exports by 2030 and boost exports to China by 50% by that date. I don't know if that's going to happen. Carney said he raised human rights in the meeting with Xi and that Canada approaches one of value-based realism. Yeah, I'm sure he raised human rights. I'm sure he said something about China's human rights record. That's a lie. He probably didn't say anything because it would offend the guy from China. So don't lie to us. We fundamentally stand up for human rights, for democracy, territorial integrity, rights to self-determination, blah, blah, blah. We take the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. Carney and Xi met in the fall on the sidelines of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Forum in South Korea. It marked the first official meeting between the leaders of Canada and China since 2017. On Friday, Xi described that as a turnaround in bilateral relations. Okay, so that's pretty much it. He's bending over for China, and China's going to give it to him from behind. We lost so many contracts because of Carney and his China relation. Yes, that's exactly it, Michael. My degree was one organic chemistry heavy, and it's like algebra. You never use it except for toxicology. Ah, there you go. But at least you can use it for that, fabric. I don't know how much you used your toxicology in being a vet, but hey, I guess when they ask, oh, was this cow poisoned or something like that, or what did it die of? Now the WEF partnership is going to kill the BC lumber industry. BC and Alberta literally pay for Canada. Yes. I was talking with guys this today about this. We were talking about the Alberta separating, becoming our own nation and all that. And it's like, we are the economic engine of Canada. We send so much transfer payments to Ottawa and get nothing in return. So we need to do something else. If it means leaving Canada, okay. I'm for that. I'm tired of sending all my hard-earned money to Ottawa for them to blow it on stupid stuff or give it to Quebec. Yeah, China will mandate that I change my name as well. Should go with Rick Mayang. Rick Mayang. Yeah, I can go. Yeah, there you go. Or how about Long Duck Dong? Oh, Long Duck Dong. Remember the movie that was from? Huh? Come on, you older guys out there. You know it. Alberta would be the 12th biggest economy in the world. Yeah, because we have so much energy, oil and natural gas and all that. All the time because cows are stupid and they eat things they shouldn't. Yeah, okay. Fair enough, Fabric. Fair enough. Cows are dumb. It's like, what did this cow die of? Oh, it ate whatever. It ate paint because it's dumb. Well, let's check out this one here. This is BC manufacturer Maker Group receives $2.5 million to implement IIoT technology. I don't know what that is. Guess we'll find out. 16 candles, attaboy, Fabric. Yeah. Good man. Pacific Canada is investing $2.5 million to help Kelowna-based Maker Group scale its operations and adopt new digital manufacturing technology. The funding was announced January 19th by Federal Minister Gregor Robertson. Maker designs and manufactures steel components, playground equipment, and water management systems for parks and splash pads around the world. According to the federal announcement, the repayable investment will support the implementation of an industrial Internet of Things system that connects smart manufacturing equipment to real-time data sensors. Oh, no. Industrial Internet of Things. Okay, that's dumb. Pacifican says the system is intended to improve product quality, identify production issues more quickly, and enhance resource efficiency. Well, for $2.5 million, I'm sure you can find something to spend it on. I doubt it's going to go into your company, though. The funding comes through Pacifican's Business Scale-Up and Productivity Program, which supports high-growth businesses in British Columbia. The federal agency says the project will help Maker increase sales, add jobs, and strengthen its competitiveness as global demand for spray parks and splash pads continues to rise. Internet of Things, you think Godzillionaire would know more? Yeah, where's our faithful kaiju? Come on, Godzillionaire, I know you're out there. Do I have to say hydrogen fuel cell to get him to appear? Hydrogen fuel cell, hydrogen fuel cell, hydrogen fuel cell. He should come running in pretty quick here. Pacifican's investment is a powerful vote of confidence in Maker Group, our people, and advanced manufacturing in Kelowna, said Jill White, president and owner of Maker Group. This funding will allow us to accelerate innovation in our shop, strengthen our global competitiveness, and create high-quality jobs locally while advancing our purpose-connected communities around the world through play and social experience. All right. More AI surveillance crap. Yep. Yeah, industrial Internet of Things. That's dumb. Like, you're designing steel components, playground equipment, and water management system for parks and splash pads. I don't think you need to implement an industrial Internet of Things. I think that is a complete waste of money. But whatever, you guys get your money where you can, I guess. What is this? Business sentiment subdued, but sales outlook improves. Bank of Canada Outlook survey. Bombardier looks to expand capacity with new Montreal area manufacturing center. Okay, here we go. You guys know Bombardier, they build the planes and such. Canada's aerospace industry. Is it Veritech a tech guy? I think Veritex is a programmer, I thought. Aren't you Veritex if you're still around? Just give me a second here, guys. All right, there we go. So with this story here, Bombardier says it will build a new 126,000 square foot manufacturing center west of Montreal to respond to growing demands for its business aircraft. There you go. Veritex is a software engineer. Nice. Oh, yeah, I always wants the cushy office jobs. Put on the arm condom, robot boy. Yeah, we're going for a trip. The company says the facility in Dorval, Quebec, will cost about $100 million and is expected to open before the end of 2027. David Murray, the executive vice president for manufacturing, IT, and Bombardier Operational Excellence System, said the new plant would be about the size of 2 football fields and would expand the company's manufacturing footprint. We'll be able to bring more efficiency to the way we're producing the aircraft, he told reporters at the existing facility in Dorval, where the company assembles Challenger jets. It's also going to set us up to look more forward and respond to the future demand we have. You have to put engineer in quotes, though, since you're not a PE. Few in the US are. Oh, okay. Okay, well, this thing in Quebec sounds right off the bat. It's like, you know, he's going to bring more efficiency to the way they're producing air. You're not trying to do it the most efficient you are now. You wouldn't change it. If you're doing something stupidly and it's taking 10 steps to do it, you wouldn't try to shave that off in your existing facility. You wouldn't try to do things more efficient. But because you're expanding, you're going to bring more efficiency. He declined to say how many more planes the company would be able to produce after the plant opens, but said Bombardier has successfully increased its volume over the past 5 years. The new facility will be constructed near its existing facilities in Western Montreal and is expected to create some 330 jobs. Quebec Economy Minister Christine Fréchette was present to announce the $35 million repayable loan from an Investissement Québec program to back the project. Hey, how you doing, Alex? Good to see you. Fréchette told journalists that supporting the expansion of Bombardier's facilities will generate significant economic benefits for the province's aerospace supply chain. The whole of Quebec will be mobilized thanks to this investment and expansion, and the economic benefits will be considerable, she said. She highlighted the importance of aerospace as a motor of growth and a motor of wealth creation. I wouldn't go that far. It sounds like buzzwords to me. Adding that Bombardier alone accounted for 5% of the value of the province's total exports. That's it? 5%? 5% out of the total exports? I mean, I'd be bragging if it was like 25% or 30%. But you're 5%. You're 5%. In 2024, the sector generated more than $22 billion in sales and employed 43,000 people. The president and CEO of Montreal-based company Eric Martel said last November the strong international demand had led Bombardier to consider increasing its production rate, potentially resulting in new hires at the Dorval plant where the Challenger 3500 business jets are assembled. But they sure didn't tell us how many more they were going to be able to make, so it's not brag-worthy. They're not going to be like, oh yeah, we can make, this many more jets. Oh well, that's another Quebec company getting money from the government. All too often, very common, being supported by the government. Anyways, that's it for that news here. Let's move along to some of the articles I managed to find today. This one I thought was pretty Pretty neat. From the Western Producer. And it says here, oh, and it's Canadian. I didn't know that when I clicked on it. How Henry Ford dealt with his labor shortage. In 1916, the automobile pioneers started the Ford Trade School to pay and train thousands of underprivileged boys. And there's a picture there. Back when they had real trade schools. In a recent online podcast, Ford Chief Executive Officer Jim Farley lamented that the United States currently has a serious shortage of skilled blue-collar workers capable of, among other things, filling service technician positions at Ford dealerships. The situation is similar here in Canada. Hey, Frog Girl, you're part of China now. Let's jet talk and get on the pole along, Ling. The pole, yeah, get on the pole, Ling Ling. Yeah, there you go. All AG equipment dealers that the Western Producer has spoken with are willing to take on more mechanics if they could find them. Manufacturing associations in Canada express the same sentiment when it comes to finding employees interested in working on production lines. Some industry observers have pointed out the need for governments to help create more skilled trades workers through training incentives. There is a cultural element to the problem as well. Many young people have looked at university as post-secondary education routes rather than trades training. While universities undoubtedly have helped develop young people, they often don't send them out into the work-a-day world with ready skills to fill jobs. Trades training does. The lack of skilled workers is not a new problem. Hey, what's up, DJ Runny G? How you doing, DJ? Home off? You at work? You home now from work? Let's see here. In 1916, at the company Farley now runs, when automotive manufacturing was still a new industry, Henry Ford needed workers to staff assembly lines and factories to build his Model T car. So he did something pretty unique for the time. He created his own trade school to teach a variety of mechanical and engineering and academic skills primarily to underprivileged boys. According to the Henry Ford, which documents the history of the Ford Motor Company, the Henry Ford Trade School taught industrial arts, accepting 12 to 15-year-old boys. The emphasis was on low-income children, orphans, or those who were breadwinners for the family due to the loss of a father. Things were different back then. You've arrived home. Very good, DJ. Importantly, the boys were paid while they learned. They were given an hourly wage that depended on their experience and time at the school. They were also given $2 a month, which had to be placed in a savings account and left there until they graduated. As well, they were provided with a hot lunch every day. The school had a first aid station and a dentist. Students split their time between academic classroom work and on-site shop training. They learned a variety of mechanical engineering skills such as welding and precision tool repair. In fact, they regularly repaired Ford factory tools as part of their training. Their general academic education includes subjects as English, advanced math, chemistry, and public speaking. By 1935, the Detroit Public Schools accepted Ford Trade School credits towards a high school diploma. The first trade school diplomas were awarded in 1937. Some students had opportunities to use that public speaking skill when they traveled around the United States to share their knowledge and training, including at the Chicago World's Fair. Once graduated from the school at age 18 or 19, the boys were offered jobs at Ford, took further training at the Ford Apprentice School, or moved on to other companies, college, and opportunities. The trade school was closed in July 1952, following Henry Ford II's decision to reduce Ford Motor Company spending and cut all programs that were not income-producing. In the 36 years that the school operated, it graduated more than 8,000 boys from Detroit and surrounding areas. Trade school graduates worked at Ford and elsewhere in a variety of industries and professions, from automotive to art and design and even medicine and dentistry. Look at that. Well, you run a company, you're able to do stuff like that. And you're able to get yourself some loyal workers. Yeah, my name's supposed to be Rick Mayang now because Canada is working with China closely. Too many misspellings. Time to get the reading glasses. I know. I know. It's also pretty small here. Maybe I should have made the text a little bigger. But there you go. Ford was doing it long before anybody else. It's too bad they got it shut down. Let's have a look here. This one is from Yahoo Finance. Canada's mining sector is booming as demand and prices grow for various commodities such as gold and copper, but it's now facing a shortage of skilled workers that could delay projects and further expansion. Mining is the hottest it's ever been, driven by record prices for gold, silver, and other commodities. Gustavo Jurado, senior economist at the Mining Industry Human Resources Council, said the Bank of Canada's Metals and Minerals Prices Index hit a record 1,093 last month, reflecting surging global demand. And yes, I've seen this too. It's unreal how the price of silver and gold has just skyrocketed. Like what's going on here? Crazy. As a result, employment in mining and quarrying has climbed to a record 100,000 workers nationwide, roughly 20% higher than the previous peak. Unemployment in the sector sits at just 2.6%, compared with 6.8% nationally. Every mining operation is running at full cylinders. Everyone's expanding, everyone's exploring, and there's a lot of investment. But the boom is creating a bottleneck because mining companies are struggling to find skilled workers, particularly in the trades. We've been hearing about people having difficulty filling trades positions like mechanics and electricians, he said. Well, yeah, and we've been saying it for a long time. There was some article saying that Salesforce was regretting letting go 4,000 of its employees when it made those AI cuts and wherever that was. Oh, yes. You could change the font size on your phone. You have an acute case of stubborn old fart. Good old SOF. That affects a lot of us. Okay, so there's the gold, silver, surge, fuels index. That's the index. So it's way up there. In 1972, it was at 100. And now it's climbed. Okay. Jurado said some operations have been forced to pause production because a single specialist was unavailable. We've heard of cases where a mine had to shut down because one mechanic was sick and they had to send everybody home for 2 weeks. Oh, man. Are you kidding me? I don't know if I believe that. Just because one guy is sick. And you're going to shut down operations? I don't think so. I think you're going to try to run everything until he's coming back and he's all better. To keep projects moving, many operators have become increasingly reliant on out-of-province labor, particularly in Saskatchewan and British Columbia, where local labor pools are not growing fast enough. Pressures are already visible. This past summer, Cameco Corp said development delays, partly linked to labor shortages, would reduce its 2025 uranium production forecast at the McArthur River Key Lake operations in Saskatchewan, cutting expected output to between 14 and 50 million pounds from 18 million pounds. You're loving the price of silver, $10 more, and you can sell those strong boxes you bought from the Sioux, Custer's Silver. Yeah, old Custer's Last Stand. Well, the one article said, surprising, it might be easy to automate the mass production of marketing speak so that's so repetitive, but building new things is not as easy to generate. Yes. Exactly, Veritax. In the East, Next Gold Mining Corp Chief Executive Kevin Bullock had said he is concerned about finding the roughly 400 workers needed to build the company's proposed Goldboro mine project in Nova Scotia. In the long term, Jurado said the global energy transition will add further pressure on miners' need for workers as demand for critical minerals grows and Canada positions itself as a key supplier. Well, I hope we can be a supplier, but I hope we could be a stockpiler too. I think we should be stockpiling especially Alberta, if it's going to separate into into its own nation, I think we should be stockpiling precious metals here. Sounds like a shallow point-to-point process. I don't know. You sold half of yours for dental work, but plan to keep the rest indefinitely. You'd like to acquire more next time the market's tanked. Yeah, let's see what happens there, DJ. Traditionally, they get knocked down pretty badly, usually overnight. But I haven't seen that yet. But if it does, I mean, maybe it's time to dip in to get into the market there when the price comes back down. In the next 10 to 20 years, we're going to want to expand significantly, but we're going to come up against this labor constraint, which is already being felt, he said, and it's going to get worse. One reason is demographics. Guys, I've said that before. You guys have heard me time and again mention demographics. You can follow the chart it's like you can see, these people are getting older and they're going to retire in this year. You're going to have retirements, and it's just, yeah. About 20% of Canada's mining workforce is older than 55. So retirements will continue to drain experience from the sector. So they have 10 years. So people 55 and older, they have 10 years. That's enough time to train people and get them there, but they have to do it now. At the same time, mining is struggling to attract younger workers. Immigrants concentrate in cities, not rural areas, so they're unfamiliar with mining. Gustavo Jurado, senior economist, Mining Industry, Human Resources Council. Mining ranks last among industries young Canadians would consider working in. According to surveys conducted by the Mining HR Council, roughly 2/3 of respondents under 30 said they would probably not or definitely not pursue a mining career, often citing perceptions of hard labor, environmental concerns, and remoteness. Mines are typically located far from major population centers, making recruitment difficult, especially among newcomers. Immigrants concentrate in cities, not rural areas. Immigrants make up about 30% of Canada's workforce overall, but only 7% or 8% of mining employment, mostly in office-based roles. The worker shortage comes as Ottawa is pouring money into the industry. The critical mineral strategy launched in the last budget includes a $2 billion sovereign fund, $371 million to support production through the first and last mile fund, $1 billion for northern roads and ports, and participation in the G7 Critical Minerals Production Alliance, which has already backed 26 projects. There are 5 mining projects on the Major Projects Office nation building list. Provinces have also moved to speed approvals. Ontario and New Brunswick introduced one process frameworks in 2025 to streamline permitting, while Nova Scotia dropped its long-standing ban on uranium mining and introduced similar fast-tracking measures. But Gerardo said training programs are struggling to keep pace with enrollment in mining-based or mining-related post-secondary programs, failing to match labor demand. For example, mining engineering enrollment peaked at more than 1,400 students in 2014, but fell to roughly 800 by 2020. A shortage of instructors who can earn far more working in the field have added to the problem. In the short term, we don't think we do much other than recruitment and increasing wages, he said, but longer term, financial incentives are usually the path of least resistance. Migrants don't come here because they misbehave. They end up in a geyser. A lot of tolerance for unemployed behavior here. Nice. Put them in Old Yeller or Old Faithful. Old Yeller was the dog. Put them in Old Faithful. Those incentives could include more money for scholarships, wage subsidies, co-op placements, and support programs aimed at helping workers transition into mining, particularly those from Indigenous and underrepresented communities. Gerardo said Canada could look to Australia for solutions since mining there is designated as a priority sector, allowing students to complete certifications in mining technology, machinery operation, and civil construction at no cost. Eligible apprentices in priority mining roles can also receive up to 10,000 Australian dollars in direct payments to help cover living costs while training. Mining accounts for more than 13% of Australia's gross domestic product compared to about 4% in Canada. They haven't solved everything, but they're often a step ahead on policy. Canada, by contrast, lags in how quickly it brings mines into production. From discovery to operation, Canadian mines take an average of 17.9 years, compared with 13 years in the United States and 14 years in Australia. The gap Gerardo attributes to regulatory complexity and labor shortages. Well, there you go. The mining sector is a place to look into for working you can go in the skilled trades in the mining sector. It's just you have to be prepared to work out of town. But I'm sure the money will be really good. I was scrolling by stories and I saw this one. This is from Maclean's magazine, and that's, Maclean's is Canadian. And the title was "The Myth of the All-American Car." And the subtitle is "Trump says he doesn't need Canadian-made cars. He's lying." So we'll see what this guy that wrote this has to say about the president and all the automobiles and such. While touring the Ford River Rouge plant in Dearborn, Michigan on Tuesday, President Trump declared that the United States will be just fine making its own automobiles. Thank you very much. We don't need cars made in Canada. We don't need cars made in Mexico. We want to make them here. Yeah, Fabric, they admit the problem is the red tape. Exactly what it is, bureaucracy. He gave the statement in response to a question about his plans for the review of the Canada-United States-Mexico Agreement, or CUSMA, a deal signed during his first term that allows for barrier-free trade among the three countries. The agreement comes up for mandatory review in July, but Trump's rhetoric doesn't bode well for the treaty's future. He calls it irrelevant, says it offers no real advantage. I couldn't disagree more. Trump's statements reveal a lack of understanding of how the auto industry works. From extraction and refining of raw materials to the car showroom, Canada, alongside many other nations, play an essential role in U.S. auto industry. In fact, America's industry would collapse without contributions from other countries. Let's start with the building blocks. Aluminum is one of the most important materials used in modern cars. Take America's favorite vehicle, the Ford F-150, whose body is made entirely out of aluminum. Right now, Canada supplies the U.S. with more than half of its aluminum, largely because we have the abundant hydroelectric power needed to run energy-hungry aluminum smelters. Our southern neighbors lack of sufficient hydroelectric power to make enough of their own aluminum. In fact, for more than a century, parts of the country have relied on electricity from Ontario and Quebec just to power their homes. And any alternatives that could fuel smelters at scale, such as nuclear plants, are massively expensive and take decades to build. There's simply no way the U.S. could ramp up their domestic aluminum production to meet the needs of their automotive, aerospace, and consumer goods sectors. They sure can't do it quickly, and they absolutely couldn't do it at the low cost they currently pay for Canadian aluminum. Hey, Aris, how you doing? Good to see you. CUSMA also allows the U.S., Canada, and Mexico to operate as a single manufacturing entity, with vehicle parts crossing borders an average of 7 to 8 times before being assembled into vehicles and sold. Without free trade, costs would increase astronomically, straining manufacturers, cutting jobs and innovation, and driving up prices for consumers. Take the recently announced North American Car of the Year, the 2026 Dodge Charger. The Charger is a high-performing coupe assembled in Stellantis Windsor assembly plant using an engine built in Mexico, transmission designed in Germany, body styled in the U.S., and parts from all over the world. This multi-nation collaboration isn't a one-off, it's the norm for virtually every vehicle built in North America. The auto industry is already organized in a way that takes the best advantage of what each country has to offer and minimizes their shortcomings. Even with CUSMA, the U.S. has long-standing shortage of skilled tradespeople required to sustain its auto industry due to their underperforming education system. At Ford Motor Company alone, there are around 5,000 skilled trade jobs currently sitting unfilled. Even if they forced the closure of every factory in Canada and Mexico and reopened them in the U.S., they wouldn't have enough qualified people to make the wheels turn. Without free trade and cooperation, we run the risk of driving up costs for both Canadians and Americans, decreasing product availability, diminishing vehicle quality, and thwarting innovation. Just a second, guys. All right. The other half of the conundrum is on the consumer side. Canada represents America's largest export market for passenger vehicles and light trucks, amounting to $23 billion U.S. Exports in 2024. But if the U.S. decimates Canada's auto industry through tariffs, Canadians still want to buy American-made cars? According to a recent study from KPMG, Canadians are already intent on using their buying power to champion their home turf. The study found that 72% of people expecting to buy a car in the next 5 years are highly prioritizing vehicles manufactured or assembled in Canada. I don't believe that, you guys. I really don't. Yeah, it's ridiculous. My guess is that if the auto industry becomes unviable, Canadians will turn their sights to other markets like Europe and even China over the U.S. Just today, Carney said Canada has struck a deal with China to allow Chinese electric vehicles into the country at a lower tariff rate in exchange for reduced duties on other goods. A car that can charge EV batteries on the side. The Charger, yes, DJ. It drives beside them and fills them up. Aluminum takes 1.21 gigawatts to smelt. Lucky for us, Christopher Lloyd is still alive. Great Scott, Marty! America has worked alongside Canada to build a successful auto industry for decades, a dynamic that Trump paints as theft from Americans, but this ignores the undeniable truth that America's success needs Canada. If CUSMA is eliminated, Canada would certainly take a hit, but so would the U.S. and American auto industry. Leaders know it. At the Detroit Auto Show, hours after Trump's statement, Ford CEO Farley weighed in. We really see Canada and Mexico and the U.S. as an integrated manufacturing system, and that's how we're going to approach this negotiation. Unfortunately, on the Canadian side, Trump's aggressive trade policy is already choking off investment, chilling the economy, and cutting jobs. The same day that Trump toured the Ford factory, I grabbed lunch about 30 minutes away with a recent automotive engineering graduate. We sat at a sports bar near the Stellantis Windsor assembly plant, and he told me that despite doing a year-long internship in Germany, speaking 3 languages and applying for jobs since last August, he could not land a position in his hometown. He's a top-notch engineer, but he said that he was in town to apply for an assembly line position just to get some work. Ha ha! Where's your fancy engineering degree get you now, eh? Coming to the trades to steal our work, eh? I see. But because, despite the skilled labor shortage, tariffs are icing the auto sector and other Canadian industries like putting glue in your transmission. I told the young man, take heart. A first-class education is his best asset, and this trade war will be resolved. Young Canadians and all of us must look forward and not allow what is happening today to define their future. There you go, guys. The Ford Maple Syrup Edition F-150 would suffer? Maybe, yeah. What's up, Godzillionaire? Good to see you. We were wondering where you were. Top-notch engineer, but he's not brown or female. Okay, and that is that. Let's move along to Fatality of the Week. Worker fatally injured operating a skid steer, or a bobcat, in case you guys don't know what a skid steer, a mini wheel loader. Get on that broom, engineer boy, yeah? Sweep up. All right, fellas, here we go. An operator was using a skid steer to unload pallets of sheet metal panels from the back of a flat deck trailer and to transport them into the yard. During one trip, the operator was traveling with a load raised up high when the skid steer hit a dip in the gravel driveway. The skid steer tipped forward suddenly and ejected the operator out of the front. The skid steer then continued forward, running over the operator, causing fatal injuries. Oh. Oof. Metalco International was a scrap metal dealer operating in Fort Saskatchewan since June 1992. It was a family-owned business that specialized in the purchase and sale of scrap metal and industrial surplus. Osman Auction was a public auction facility that was founded in 1983 and held regular auctions in West Edmonton. 10 lots on pallets of sheet metal panels were purchased by the operator and co-owner of Metalco from Osman. The total weight of the purchase load was roughly 25 tons. Oof. The skid steer operator was also the co-owner of Metalco. Yeah, fabric. The sheet metal panels being transported at the time of the incident were on 2 pallets. The panels on the pallets measured 1.22 meters wide by 3.05 meters long. I just got to do my math here. So it's 5 feet by 10 feet, it looks like. 1 meter is roughly 3 feet, maybe 4. 4 by 10 and 1.58 millimeters thick. The skid steer was a 1978 Bobcat that was owned by Metalco. The skid steer was a tire run unit equipped with pallet forks and was operated using 2 levers. Fort Sask used to be insanely profitable. Really? That's interesting, Michael. Why is that? Why did Fort Sask used to be insanely profitable? I can spell Saskatchewan, make me your Kang. Good for you, Fabric. Okay, well, here we are. Truck and trailer. The Mack truck and trailer was owned by an independent operator. The owner of the delivery truck was requested by the operator to pick up the purchased material from Osman and deliver it to Metalco's yard in Fort Saskatchewan County. Okay, well, there's the skid steer. So yeah, it's a wheeled unit from 1970. It is old. Like, this incident happened in 2018. Like, that is an old skid steer. Okay, 2 pallets being transported at the time of the incident that contained the panels. Well, there they are. It looks like the pallet underneath just disintegrated or got crushed. Oh, the pipeline and fab shops. Okay, pipelines and fab shops. I gotcha, Michael. Thanks. Oh man, look at this, guys. There's your control. Operating levers used to directionally control the movement of the skid steer. There's not even handles on it, grips on them. They're just like pipes. That is bare bones as they get. To be fair, it is an Indian name and not suitable for pale-faced tongue. Yes, I understand. Yeah, okay, well, there's your old skid steer. Man, oh man, just nothing in there. Looks like fire truck behind it. All right, let's zoom out a little bit here. And what else? Okay, that's where he was loading it off from. Okay, so he was taking it off pretty high up on the load, it looks like. Delivery truck parked on the side of the road, beside and ahead of Metalco property entrance. This machine is a wrongful death lawyer's wet dream. Yeah. All right, here's the sequence of events. It looks like Red Green built this. How did Oh Sorry pass this? You never seen one like that, eh? Yeah. I mean, I've been operating skid steers for a while, and at least I never had one that was able to operate one that old. On June 19th, 2018, at approximately 5:30 p.m., a truck driver left Osmond with a load of panels that were purchased by Metalco. On May 24th, the driver arrived at and parked in front of Metalco's site at approximately 6:30 p.m. The operator from Metalco began unloading pallets from the back of the delivery truck's flat deck trailer using a forklift. The operator made the decision to switch to a skid steer with a fork attachment to continue the unloading process as it was quicker. Oh no. So he switched from using a forklift to a skid steer. Anybody that's driven both of those know that a forklift is a lot smoother and a skid steer is a little more difficult to operate as a forklift. It's a lot more difficult. You've seen Tonka toys in better shape. Yeah. At 9:15 p.m. So we're getting into the dark here. The operator was driving the skid steer down the uneven driveway to the yard carrying 2 pallets of panels. The operator was transporting the load in a highly elevated position and at a quick rate of speed. Well, first of all, you're always supposed to keep as close to the ground as possible. And because they're on pallets, he should have been able to do that. I didn't know that those metal plates were going to be on pallets. I thought they might have been bending as he was just picking them up. But they're supported. So he should have had that down close to the ground as much as possible. The skid steer suddenly tipped forward and ejected the owner out of the operator's seat. The skid steer continued rolling forward and ran over the operator, resulting in fatal head injuries. So there's no seatbelt worn, no lap bar. He must have had the door open as well, because any one of those things could have stopped him. Like if he had a seatbelt on, if he had the lap bar down, which maybe these didn't even have a lap bar because they're so old, and maybe being able to drive with the door open. Gonna take Hera for a walk and see the northern lights before bed. All right, you have a good one, Michael. We're glad you made it through your ordeal there, and I hope to see you again. Have a good one, man. Everyone should see the crazy lights in the sky tonight. Yeah, if you're in an area that can see the northern lights, hop on out, have a look. Hopefully you can see them. He had to. He wasn't forklift certified. Yeah. So overloaded and too fast. Yep. Seatbelts? We don't need no stinking belts. I don't need no stinking belts. So the driver of their delivery truck, having witnessed the event, contacted 911. Emergency services arrived and held the scene for Alberta OHS investigators. A review of enforcement action was completed, and it was determined that prosecution or an administrative penalty were not appropriate based on circumstances surrounding this incident. Okay. So, dark, working at night. Now, is there a seatbelt? Because if it has one, you are supposed to use it. I don't even see a lap bar. Anything. I don't see a seatbelt. But the fact that when he was pitched out and it kept rolling after him means that these levers, like, they stick. They don't even, like, they're supposed to spring back. You're supposed to have that return to the position where you aren't engaging the drive anymore. But obviously these don't. These don't even have freaking coverings over them. So yeah, it's let's see if we can get another view of the skid steer. I swear that has a windshield on the front. It looks like it. Might just be seeing things though. Yeah. Yeah, you didn't see a lap bar either. I don't know. Somebody, like he was the co-owner. He was, and the metal plates were all on a pallet. So there was no need for them. First of all, there was no need for him to be driving so fast, and no need to have them so high in the air. It's like a powered mower where you zip tie the safety switch down. Not like anyone would ever do that. Yeah. Well, now they have them in the chair. The seat will have a switch so that if it detects that you're not sitting in there, it'll cut the hydraulics to everything. The door will have a switch where if it opens, it'll stop everything. The lap bar, if it comes up, it'll stop all the hydraulics. They've got so many interlocks now. Maybe back in 1978, these things didn't have any interlocks. He went through the windshield? I don't know if he did. That would take a lot to throw you in the wind. Like you're not traveling very far. Like your seat, then your face in the windshield is only maybe 18 inches away. You don't travel that far to go through the windshield. You always wanted to play with one of these? They're fun. They're all right. The newer ones, man, they ride like Cadillacs. They're so quiet. You get radios in them. It's all push button, you know. It's just, it's slick. They operate real nice. Co-owner, he probably built this travesty. I wouldn't put it past them. They do like to save money by augmenting things that are on their own. Safety interlocks? What is this commie heresy? Well, that's it, fellas, though. That's, no, it didn't say he flew through the windshield. It said he just, he got pitched out of the seat. Hang on. The operator was transporting the load in a highly elevated position, so they were right up in the air, and he was moving as fast as he could. It says quick rate of speed. It tipped forward and ejected the owner out of the operator. Okay, so if that thing tips forward, it's throwing you out. Not through the windshield. He must have had it open. That's what I'm thinking. He didn't have a seatbelt on or anything, but over he went, and when you get tossed forward, he's hanging on to the controls, so he's pushing them forward still. And yeah, the pallets might have fell on him, and then he got run over. Because if you tip over, the pallets would have fell off. He would have been pitched out. The skid steer would have rolled back onto all four wheels and kept rolling forward and ran him over. That might be how it happened. No seatbelts, DJ. Yeah, exactly. Skid steers to do a lot of things okay, but nothing very well. They're good for digging dirt, and we use ours for plowing snow. You know, that's we have some fork attachments, but that's only when we can't get it with the forklift. If the forklift would get stuck, we grab the skid steer and use that. But then again, we're not driving around with it way up overhead, and we're not driving at insane speeds either. So yeah, there you go, guys. If you are operating a forklift or a skid steer that has fork attachments, keep your load low to the ground as possible. And if you're moving with a load, slow down. Slow down, travel low with the load, and you'll be good. This wouldn't have happened. He would have hit that bump in the road, and he would have rocked back a bit, but he wouldn't have been pitched out of the skid steer. So, yeah. Yeah, I swear that's what happened. It was so high in the air, and he got thrown out. Maybe he hit his head on the backrest, and then it ran over him. I don't know. Look how it leans. You mean how the whole thing kind of leans to the right a bit? I mean, it is super old, so maybe this thing's seen its fair share of rollovers. Also, is there no covers Is there no covers there? There's no covers there. So this, over the years, this thing has had, looks like the covers have been taken off and thrown away so they could get access to the engine compartment. So this thing was just a death trap, and it lived up to its name. This thing should have been retired years ago, turned into scrap metal. Which is why I keep bugging our plant manager for a new skid steer. Ours is from 1998, and I'm like, we need a new one. We got to get a new one. Just the cab. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe it had a rollover already. Maybe this thing's been on its side a few times. All right, fellas, let's lighten her up again. We'll do some picture time. It's picture time. It's picture time. Yep, no covers. Yep. Let's get some picture time going on here. Lighten the mood a bit. Here, have a look at some Christmas girls. For those of you that remember, you remember Trouble Light, well, you're going to like this one. It's a torque wrench. I found this on my workbench this morning. And I had an email from the operator saying there was a crack in it. It's picture time. No, waifu time. It's always waifu time. Once again, nobody will tell me what happened. The story I got was, oh, it was like that when I found it. I'm like, uh-huh. Still works. It's Trouble Light, the sequel. You should be able to see where to set your foot-pounds at. But nobody will tell me what happened. How? I want to know that, Fabric. I want to know what. I want to know how they did this. Once again. That's not right. There's the crack. You see hammer marks? So now, and I brought this with me to the morning meeting that we have, and I was like, all right, so time to yell at some people. And I let them have it. I said, listen here, you guys got to treat your equipment better, because now I have to take this and I have to send it away for repairs. And you're just lucky we had a spare one here Because if we didn't, you'd be screwed. You wouldn't be able to put your valves on and torque them to the right foot-pounds. So it was, I registered my displeasure at the guys for that. And like I said, nobody will own up to it. Nobody will say what happened. So it's just a matter of, it just quietly gets left on my workbench, and people are, whoa, wow, what's that? How'd that happen? Not a crack, that's a shear. We're using it to clear a shredder. I don't know what they were doing. They're probably dropping it. I bet you they didn't put it on something properly and it dropped on the floor. They better not be beaten on it though, because that's gonna get them in trouble right quick. Okay, I got another one here. Also, that was that ties into the title of the stream. This really torques my nuts. So I had to throw that in there. I couldn't resist. All right, what do we have here? We have a 25-ton press. So this thing is what I use for pressing bearings off of shafts and such. I needed to make an improvement. So here it is. So these are what you use to support the pieces. But this one's bent. Somebody put way too much pressure on it. This one that one's straight, believe it or not. It might not look it, but it's straight. Plot twist, the spare has the measurements in Chinese. Yeah. Okay, so I got some replacements. And these are 1-inch thick pieces, and they are straight. They're not as wide as the old ones, but that's okay. They are thicker, and they shouldn't bend as much as the old ones. So, always looking to make small improvements, because you make those improvements to help you out when you're doing jobs. Because when I was using the old ones, because one was bent, you'd be crooked when you're trying to push stuff with the press. So now, these new ones are a lot better. And you always try to make that improvement, whatever you can do. These people think equipment grows on trees. The thing I've noticed over my whole entire career is operators don't care. They don't care. If it's not their tools, they don't care. If it's somebody else's, who cares? It's not mine. The company will pay for it. But what I explained to them today was, yeah, now I have to take this tool and send it away, and it's going to cost the company money to fix it. And if we didn't have a spare, you'd be out of luck. So that's what they don't get. They don't think. They're just like, oh yeah, company will pay for it. That money goes to fixing it when it could go to buying something else. So that's what these numbskulls don't get. What else did I got here? I've taken quite a few videos this past week. What was that one? Oh, that's right. If you guys ever wanted to know what it looked like inside a pressure relief valve, I don't know if Godzillionaire, if you're still around, you might be interested. So this pressure relief valve is for a hydrogen sulfide tank, but it experienced failure, which was something that has never happened before. So there's a big spring. And it's not supposed to be in pieces. It's like something combined with the hydrogen sulfide to eat that spring. And there's where it sits. It sits on that piece there. You can look in there and you can see the corrosion. So something was getting in through the exhaust of that thing and causing corrosion, which is wild because there shouldn't be anything there unless the thing is exhausting. And there's the cap of it there. So yeah, pressure relief valve. Thing needed to be rebuilt, or not rebuilt, removed and replaced prematurely. They should never do that. Here's one more. Speaking of skid steers, I needed to change the hoses on our Snowblade, and because one of the operators was like, "Hey, I saw some oil leaking out of there," and I'm like, "Huh, all right, well, I'll check it out." So it's not a very long hose, but you always have to do your inspection carefully, checking the jacket, the outer jacket, the cover there. There's one. There it is. That's pretty bad. So that's that one. That was one of the leak points, I'm sure. And there should be another one I saw. Right there. Just the smallest pinhole. Camera's not that great, but it's a body cam. What do you want? It's I don't think it's meant for such up close pictures. But yeah, that was the culprit. So even before I took those off and I sent them away to a place to get new hoses. And I think, yeah, holy hose. And so I got some new hoses made. And I'll show you there. There we go. So I think I got this one here. Some Forceflex hydraulic hose. Even better quality than those older ones. At least it isn't hydraulics. It is hydraulics. Yeah, Fabric, it is. So yeah, this I sent in the hoses which were like probably on the cheap end. And I said, make me something that's gonna, be equivalent or better. And they're like, here you go. Here is something better. And I'm like, oh, good. And it was really cheap. I think 2 hoses cost like $60. So good deal. Good for 5,000 PSI working pressure. So I'm happy with that. The hose ID though. Oh no, the hose ID was only about 1/2 inch, I think. No, not that. Not that. Anyways, it was a Forceflex hydraulic hose. I think maybe it was just braided hose. Snow Dub booty break. There's a hose in this house. There's a hose in this house. That was a good one. I like that. I like that booty break. What's this guy? Working pressure. No. I remember seeing it on the hose. It was like 5,000 psi. It was only a half-inch hose. So there's 4,000. 4,000. 4,250. 4,500. Braided hose? Yeah. Literally mentioned that? Yeah. Yep. Braided hose. Those hoses were made of silicone, otherwise we'd need 20K. Yeah, that's right. Those hose. Miscellaneous hydraulic hose, thermoplastic. Oh well. It was good though. It was good getting brand new hoses made up because they're going to be a lot stronger and they're probably going to last longer. So I won't have to worry about having holes in them anymore. That's the bad thing. You don't want holes in your hydraulic hoses. It's very dangerous. All right. Well, I think that's all I have for you today there, fellas. Hope you had a good time seeing Trouble Light Part 2. Torque Wrench Boogaloo. Like I said, you see a lot when you're in maintenance. You know, nobody ever did it, so that's what you always get. I didn't do it. I was like that when I got there. So this was on the Snowblade, and all it does is when you want to angle the Snowblade, that's when it activates. So if they're just driving around with it, not turning the Snowblade, then it's not going to activate. It's not going to spray out. It'll leak. It'll have a slow leak, which is what they saw. They saw drips, but it didn't have enough. They weren't turning it and putting the pressure to it. Well, I just want to take the time to thank everybody that came out tonight. You know who you are. Fabric, Michael, who had to take the dog for a walk, and him and his harrowing experience almost drowning. Jeez. Veritax. Always good to see you, Veritax. Our resident software engineer. Alex Moore. Glad to see you stopping by. You too, DJ. Always like seeing DJ Ronnie G. And of course, Aris. Don't forget, Aris does his streaming on YouTube here. He streams a lot of games. And Godzillionaire! I thought we were going to see you. We did try to summon you by saying hydrogen fuel cell 3 times. Hope that got your ears burning. And anybody else who is lurking and listening, you know what? Thanks for stopping in. You're welcome. Jokes aside, thanks. Yeah, no sweat, DJ. Don't forget to see DJ Ronnie G as well. He's streaming on YouTube. You can usually find him at the Monday show on Thursday. At least that's what I've been led to believe, unless the internet's a lie. But yeah, it's always great having all you guys stop in. We have a good time. Your operators sound like your kids. When they were young, things got broke, but nobody broke it. Yeah. Wasn't me. I didn't do it. It's like, you lie. Let's see here. What do I want to do? I want to go like this. Go like this. All right, guys, don't forget. Coming up on Saturday, Saturday, I'm playing more retro games. Gonna play more Odin Sphere. What a great game! You can stop in at 9 a.m. Saturday morning. Watch me play some more Odin Sphere. What a terrific game! Great graphics, good story. It's for the PS2. It's just and it's just that right amount of difficulty. And then on Sunday, it's Sunday Anime Chat, and that's going to be more 80s anime, but it's the last Sunday of the month, isn't it? Already. Oh, man. Okay, yeah, last Sunday of the month. So tune in for some of the greatest anime shows you've seen from the 80s. We're going to bring it to you here. And then after that, it's Tuesday, Trades Talk Tuesday. You know the drill. We're all about, heavy industry here. We like to talk about what's going on out there with the shortage. We like to see what's what companies getting the government handouts from Canada and all that kind of good stuff. And when I'm not streaming, you can always tune in to Pacific 4 and 4. Or, as I mentioned before, tune into DJ Ronnie G. Or Brandon the Anime Guy, or Carl at the RNG Podcast. You can also check out Infinite Metal. He's right here, and he's streaming right now. So yeah, do yourself a favor. Stop in. See Infinite Metal. Next month is Giant Lollies. I had a few ideas on what to do for next month. I'm hoping it all works out. But yeah, I'll let you know. I'll definitely let you know what's going on. Should we have a whole month dedicated to Chain Soldier there, Fabric? I think everybody would be a fan of Shushu. Also, don't forget that there is a VTuber out there called Call Me Kixie. You could check her out. She streams on Twitch. You want lollies, Fabric? No. Bad Fabric. Bad Fabric. So check out Call Me Kixie. She's a great VTuber. She's very family friendly. And you always have a fun time watching her play indie games. She's very chatty. She always streams on Saturday. Yes. Well, you guys will have to tune in on Sunday to see, or the Sunday after, to see what the theme of February is going to be. So make sure you tune in. I'll have to, I may drop some subtle hints, let you know. But yeah, that's all for me for tonight there, fellas. Like I say, I really appreciate you coming by. I like spending time with you guys. I hope you have a fun time, because I do. I do have fun. We're able to have some pretty good discussions here, I think. You guys are quite astute and observant. And you guys have some good input as well. Really, really make me have to think and have a really engaging conversation. So I'm happy for that. But that's going to be it for me. Hope you guys have a great rest of your night. And I will hopefully see you guys the next time I'm streaming, which will be Saturday, the weekend. So stop by and see. Until then, though, I've been Pop, and I am signing off.